I was involved in a lot of things in high school, and one of the big things was community service. And I was a part of Build On, which is a nonprofit organization, and we go out like every week and we do service projects. It can be from like working with kids to working with homeless people to volunteering in soup kitchens and different service things.
In high school, I was part of the Boy Scouts, and I actually achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, and that involves planning and carrying out my own service projects. So specifically for mine, I landscaped the front parking lot of my church next to where I went to middle school.
Throughout high school, I did a whole bunch of different community service opportunities. I was a mentor to an autistic teen in New York. I took a gap year in Israel. I worked for a hostel for adults with mental disabilities.
I did a lot of community service back in high school. I worked at our local food pantry and soup kitchen at the church on a bi-weekly basis. I also helped coordinate my senior classes toy drive and local food drive, and we brought all of the donations to the local women's correctional facility. We also did a lot of walks for multiple sclerosis and cancer awareness.
I was vice president of Habitat for Humanity, so I built houses all the time and went around painting, and it was a lot of fun. But we also planned a lot of events for the school as well, and also for communities abroad.
So the year before I came to Wheaton, I took a gap year. I was admitted to the class of 2011, and then I deferred and joined the class of 2012. So I'm currently a junior, so that I could participate full-time in an AmeriCorps program called City, where 45 to 60 hours a week I was doing community service, usually with kids, but in a variety of different capacities in Washington, D.C. Was that 2 days a week I was an assistant to a third grade teacher in a third grade classroom. I'd be in school all day, so we would monitor during recess, we do enrichment programs, we tutored one child throughout the year in that school, and I actually tutored a boy who was in my third grade class.
This winter break, I decided to go with a few friends to New Orleans with a group from Wheaton called the Alternative Winter Break Trip to New Orleans. And we helped rebuild homes that were affected by Hurricane Katrina. And we actually got to work on the same house that they worked on last winter break. And there were about 26 of us who went, and we stayed for a week, and we got to experience the New Orleans culture. In addition to rebuilding homes and meeting people who live there and working with an organization called Rebuilding Together. And we also fundraised our whole trip there through donations from families, and also through a basketball game, faculty-student basketball game, where we made these shirts and tie-dyed them ourselves, and it was a lot of fun.
After my freshman year, I received money from Wheaton to be funded to do an internship in South Africa, where for a summer I was at an NGO called the Amy Beale Foundation, and I taught English to sixth graders and facilitated in an HIV/AIDS class for high school students, and I was there in Cape Town all summer, funded by Wheaton.
I'm a freshman right now in college, so I'm experiencing different activities, but one club I'm involved in is the Seaboard, and I'm part of the subcommittee for monthly service projects. And I'm publicity director, so I advertise for the service project that we will have every month. So for example, last February we had a project that we fundraised money for elderly homes.
Applying for a suite next year with some of my friends called the Hungry Lions, and we are going to basically raise awareness and raise donations for food, and bring them to local food pantries and soup kitchens throughout the local Massachusetts and Rhode Island areas.
I actually was a volunteer EMT in my town, Harvard, Massachusetts. I put in about 20 hours of on-call time, and other services to the squad during my high school years, and now I actually am still volunteering as an EMT back home during winter breaks in the summer. And to me, community service is really just giving back to the community that I grew up in a wonderful community, and it's the least that I can do to kind of give back and pay my dues.
I chose Wheaton because I knew that this is the kind of community that fosters that kind of social responsibility and the collective sense that we all need to help out one another. And throughout my time here, my 2 years so far, I've gotten that real sense that this is the kind of school, this is the kind of community that encourages students to help out in that kind of a way, and I've really tried my best to take advantage of those different kinds of opportunities.